Alright then, little change of scenery. Welcome to Casa del Benson. We moved house. Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. Today, we're not going to talk about like these crazy transfers like Neymar to Chelsea for 200 million, something daft like that. We're going to be talking realistic. We're going to be talking things that Chelsea need, that Chelsea might want, and that I could technically see happening in the current football economic climate. I almost got my words wrong there. I know that you guys want me to get back to doing regular content. I feel as though there's only so much that we can discuss at this point, but all of the players that we're going to discuss today, there are going to be some that could potentially be coming into Chelsea, some that might be leaving Chelsea, and deals that are kind of tied together in terms of like-for-like switches between other clubs in Europe. So all of these are players that I've not really talked about yet here on the channel, but things that I could genuinely see happening when football returns to normal in the summer. Now, we already know there's one man coming in and he signs on July the 1st. He'll be a blue boy, Hakim Ziyech from Ajax. And I keep forgetting that it's going to be very exciting to see how Ziyech is going to be implemented into this Chelsea team. Over the course of the weekend, I'm going to be releasing another video where I talk about the overload that we have in central midfield. I'm still seeing Chelsea being linked with central midfielders left, right and centre, and it does seem a little bit confusing considering the quality that we have in those positions. But not talking about midfielders for now. We're going to stick to the topic of the video at hand. Subscribe to the George Benson football channel. By the way, if you haven't already, just click the button like I've just displayed here above my finger. It's quite an easy thing to do. One click, you'll never miss a video, depending on how often I upload, that is. So, transfer number one. It's an incoming transfer. It's one that supposedly holds some legs because Frank Lampard has been on the buzzer, and I've actually got one in my pocket. He's been phoning Dries Mertens and saying, "Hello Dries, free agent in the summer. How do you fancy a little trip to West London? Do you want to play for Chelsea?" And he's like, "Yes, I think that's a good idea." Apparently, that's what's been happening. I don't quite believe everything that I hear in the media. I can't imagine Frank being that awkward geezer just giving Dries Mertens a ring every day. It gets a bit peculiar after a while, so we'll just take that with a pinch of salt, but we will entertain the idea. Dries Mertens is a free agent. He's 32 years of age. Free agents in this current footballing economy are going to be worth more than they've ever been before due to the uncertainty surrounding finance in football. Teams are going to be looking to save money wherever they can this summer. Teams are not going to be looking to sell their best players because the ability to be able to spend to replace players that they could be selling is not going to be so readily available. And with the coronavirus, no one really knowing the lifespan as to when this thing is going to die off completely, it would be a foolish thing for clubs this summer to be going out and spending bucket tons of money. So free agents like Dries Mertens could be the kind of players that are super high in demand. Let's also look at the likelihood of this happening in terms of it being a positive transfer for Chelsea. Tammy Abraham, very good first season in the Premier League. I don't think anyone can deny that. Yes, there were dry patches, but considering it was his first season as Chelsea's number 9 and his first real season in the Premier League as a leading striker, Tammy has done a very good job. Chelsea are trying to get him to sign a new contract to see him commit his long-term future to the club. Now, bringing in a striker to help Tammy is a really good idea. We're not going to give Tammy Abraham a 5-6 year contract if we don't see him being Chelsea's future number 9. Dries Mertens is 32 years old. He's Napoli's joint all-time leading goal scorer. The man's been bagging them in the Champions League, bagging them in Serie A for years. The versatility that he could bring to Chelsea's squad, I think going for Dries Mertens on a free agent transfer would be an absolute no-brainer. And I think that if any of these rumours about Frank on the buzzer to Mertens is true, we should be trying to push this one forward as much as we possibly can. Mertens has still got a couple of years left at the top of the game. We know that Chelsea are always reluctant to offer longer contracts to 30-plus players, but we've also seen them offer Willian a 2-year contract extension. Willian wanted 3, he's not signed it. We'll talk about that in a future video. But Mertens could be one of those players who comes in and not only gives us options as a striker, but he can also play on the wing as well, which, even though we've already got an abundance of wingers, and we're being linked with every flipping pacey winger in Europe at this point, Mertens could offer us some options there, and I think this is something that Chelsea will definitely, behind the scenes, be looking to pursue. Now, transfer number 2, we're going to go from an incoming transfer, we're going to talk about an outgoing transfer, and this one, or potentially 2, we're going to bracket these two together because both Marcos Alonso and Emerson have both had moments of flashes of brilliance during their Chelsea careers. We saw Emerson early on in the season look to be cementing his place as Chelsea's number 1 left back. picked up some injuries. We then saw Azpilicueta playing there a little bit. We've seen Alonso come in, have spells of good form, like we've always seen during his Chelsea career. Marcos Alonso has split opinions. Brilliant going forward. Defensively, at times, I think even my Wembley Cup performance when my team conceded 7 was actually on par, if not slightly better than Marcos Alonso defensively. So very much one week he's this, the next week he's that. The Bayern Munich red card, the epitome of everything I've just said. Marcos Alonso or Emerson to leave Chelsea, or potentially both. If Chelsea are looking to get in the market for a left back, supposedly Chelsea might not be looking to sell either, and if we do bring in another left back, you can pretty much guarantee that at least one of these players, if not both of them, are gonna leave the club this summer. To have 3 left backs on their books, all vying for the same spot, is probably not something beneficial financially for Chelsea right now either. There's no point paying 3 left backs extortionate wages when you've got someone like Ian Maatsen, who's actually doing very well from the academy, looking to break into the first team squad as well. So we could see both Alonso and Emerson leave, Chelsea getting some money in the back pocket, but if we link it into potential transfer number 3, we go back to an incoming transfer. There is a supposed swap deal on the table right now. Again, all of this is speculative. All of this is like no concrete evidence that this is real. Alex Sandro, the Brazilian from Juventus, a couple of seasons ago, this was the most in-demand left-back in Europe. He's still very good, but a swap deal potentially. Emerson leaving Chelsea, going to Juventus. Obviously, Maurizio Sarri would like to reconnect with Emerson again, so it makes sense. The idea is on the table. Alex Sandro coming the other way. This is something I could see happening, but it wouldn't be my preference. At the moment, I'm looking at this whole financial market discussion. I'm looking at where the bargains could be. And in terms of quality and also finance, I think Chelsea going for Alex Telles of Porto would actually be a better transfer, but there's been links with him for a while, and I'm not seeing any concrete pushes from Chelsea in order to try and make this happen. And I think a lot of that is down to Chelsea's reluctance to actually get rid of both Emerson and Alonso. I think the club think very highly of both of those players, and even though they may split the opinions of the fans, I could also see Chelsea not buying a left back this summer, keeping both Emerson and Alonso, unless one of them pushes to leave, and pushing Ian Maatsen up into the first team. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Now, player number 4, again, sticking with this theme of a tough financial market, thinking of saving some money, Jeremy Boga. This man has only had Lionel Messi and Adama Traore complete more successful dribbles during this footballing broken season that we've experienced over the last few months. Jeremy Boga. He's a man that we got rid of. We saw him play a couple of pre-season games over a few years, never really broke into the team, but I'm going to make a comparison here in terms of what we've seen happen and what in a few years' time, if Chelsea don't go through with getting the buyback clause to get Boga back on the club, we could be seeing a Mohamed Salah-esque kind of move here. And don't get me wrong, I know some people have jumped the gun. You'll start typing in the comments saying, oh, Benson's trying to compare Boga to Salah. What an absolute idiot. Has he been smoking too much ganja? No. Mo Salah's stats at Roma were exceptional. He went to Liverpool, exceeded everything that he ever did at Roma, and now we're talking about one of the world-class players in world football. I'm not going to stick Jeremy Boga in that bracket just yet, but for the price that Chelsea would pay, 15 million, it's got to be something that we're looking to execute. In a future video, we're going to talk, like I said, about Willian leaving. Chances are Pedro's going to be leaving as well. The chances are he could go to Serie A. Pedro leaves and Willian leaves. Even with Hakim Ziyech coming in, Chelsea are going to need to be buying and investing in another winger. Jeremy Boga. Yes, we're still talking about potential. He's not as young as a Callum Hudson-Odoi or a Jadon Sancho, which we've entertained to death on this channel. We're not going to bring him up anymore today. Jeremy Boga is having a very, very good season at Sassuolo. His stats are pretty good. He's an explosive kind of player, and I think he's someone that would actually fit in very well at Chelsea, and I think that coming in, he would probably want first-team football. I don't think he'd be guaranteed to start in every game, talking Premier League, Champions League, and all the cups, but he could be a very good, versatile winger that Chelsea could bring in at, yet again, a cutthroat price. And considering we do have that buyback clause in his contract at Sassuolo, it makes sense for Chelsea to go in on this. I've been asked a lot about whether or not I think we should go in for Boga. I personally think we should. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. It would be an absolute bargain if his form this season is anything to go by. Now, this is one that I didn't really want to entertain. It's one that I've always got my own biased reasons for wanting to keep Michy Batshuayi, the batsman, at Chelsea Football Club. However, it's come to a time now where, does he really want to be playing second fiddle to Tammy Abraham? Olivier Giroud looks as though he might extend his contract as well, and towards the end of football as we knew it, before this whole COVID-19 thing hit, Olivier Giroud was actually preferred to Michy Batshuayi under Frank Lampard's selection. So Batshuayi, it could be the time in his career to make a permanent move away from Chelsea. Yes, his minutes per goal in a Chelsea shirt is actually quite impressive. 3 goals that I think of off the top of my head, or 4. The goal against Man United showcased that Batshuayi does have a physical element to his game. He can shoot from outside the box. He's a very good finisher. That's never been anything that's ever been in doubt. But his consistency has always been the problem. Yes, there's moments in Amsterdam. There's moments in blooming Madrid, which led to this on my flipping wrist. And there's the goal at the Hawthorns to secure Chelsea the Premier League title. He's never really been favoured by anyone. And I think it's at a time now where if Chelsea are looking to balance the books financially as well in a time of crisis globally in football, you could probably still get a little bit of buck for Michy Batshuayi. And I think that if he has another season where he's just playing bit part minutes and he's on the bench at Chelsea, I don't think Chelsea will be able to command the same kind of money in the future as we potentially could now for Michy Batshuayi. And if we're talking about bringing in a Mertens or an Aubameyang, which is a previous video I've made, you should check it out with the card on the screen. If we're talking about these kind of players, it's only going to shove Michy Batshuayi further down the pecking order. Is it beneficial for Chelsea to keep loaning him out? Probably not, unless he has a good loan season and then we can command more money. But it's never really been setting the world alight when Michy Batshuayi's gone on loan. So for that reason, I think it could be time for Chelsea to cash in. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments down below. This has been 5 realistic transfers that I could see happening this summer. Let me know if you believe in any of the ones I've spoken about today, be it the incomings or the outgoings, and in a future video over the course of this weekend, most likely, no promises, I know I've been bad at keeping those. Over the course of the weekend, I'm going to be talking about Willian's departure, Pedro's departure, and the abundance of central midfield talent that Chelsea currently have at the club, while still being linked to players like Kai Havertz of Bayer Leverkusen. It could be an exciting one. Going to discuss it in the future. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this. Let me know your thoughts on the 5 players or the 6 players we discussed in this video, and I'll catch you all later. Goodbye.